All right, so officially our very first practice live. Now, nobody's actually on right now, and that's perfectly okay because I've got to kind of figure out some of this stuff as I go along. Maybe somebody will go jump on, and that'll give a little bit of chat so I can see what that looks like. And if not, that's okay. We're having fun. So, in this, I wanted to just talk about a few of the things we're going to be doing this summer. So, we're going to do a total of 11 stops going out east to start with, turning on up north, and then back out towards the west some. So, with those stops, the first place we're going to be going to is to Cooper Lake State Park. Now, it's in Texas, so it's another Texas stop. But I don't like huge long drives. There's going to be some long drives with amongst all this. This keeps some of the drives down a bit, and I've been wanting to check out this place for a little while. So that's going to be our first stop. After that, we're going to be hitting up Hot Springs in Arkansas. So that ought to be interesting. A little bit worried about the humidity, but we'll see how that goes. Heard that the population of mosquitoes is pretty up there too. So, we'll see how that goes also. Then after that, we're hitting Arkansas. That's Hot Springs, Arkansas. Then we're hitting Alabama. We're hitting a place in Alabama. We're outside of a town called Jasper. I'm not really familiar with it. That'll be interesting. We'll be out, just outside of Jasper. Not very familiar with it. It looked like it had some really cool trails, so I'm looking forward to that. Tennessee will be our next stop. Now, Tennessee looks absolutely gorgeous. Just like most of these places, I've never hiked through any of these. I'm sure I've been through them at one point or another, mostly when I was younger, not any more recently. But yeah, it looks like it'll be fun. Lots of trees out there. Now, we wanted to get the Great Smoky Mountains region originally, but Sophie and I, we were looking into it, and we found out that the Great Smoky Mountains there's only 2 trails out there that allow dogs. And if I can't take Sophie, we ain't going. So we are instead in I can't remember what it's called. It's the area just south of there, in the mountainous area, and just south of there. So it still looks pretty cool. So that'll be interesting. Then we'll be hitting, after that, we'll be hitting North Carolina. Now, North Carolina is not going to be any hiking going on. I have an aunt that lives there, have a hotel. So after, how many days are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. After like 11 days of camping and stuff like that, it'll be really nice to have a hotel for a few days. So about 2 days in North Carolina, have a hotel, kind of get cleaned up, get a little bit more rested before we go back out on the road. From there, we are going to be turning north. So when we turn north, we're heading into Virginia. Let's see. I'm kind of worried, in a way. Nervous, worried, whatever. In Virginia, the directions that it gives, it basically says, do not use your GPS. So I've got directions written down. I bought a map book. As I enter Virginia, as I understand, there should be like a visitor center or something like that I can hopefully get a more detailed map at. So we'll see how that goes. Good morning, Evelyn. Thanks for joining us. So we'll see how that goes. We might get lost. If we do, that's part of the adventure. Then from Virginia, we're heading into Ohio. Similar there, not the best GPS coordinates, apparently. We've written down some instructions. We've got the map. We'll see how that goes too. Ought to be an adventure. Back into probably much more easier to find territory. We're returning to Wisconsin. Now, between Ohio and Wisconsin, I think it's one of our longest distances of trips. I think it's about 9 hours we're looking at. But I've really wanted to hit Devil's Lake State Park up there. It looks beautiful. I've heard a lot of great things about it. So we're going to be hitting Devil Lake State Park in Wisconsin. That's almost towards the end of our trip. The final part of our trip is going to be in South Dakota. Now, I had planned originally to maybe hit Colorado, maybe Wyoming after that. But this is the longest we've ever been out. Not just Sophie and I, and even for me, for a very, 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 very long time. So almost 3 weeks. I think it'll be a good time to pack it in. With that, we're going to be hitting Custer State Park. Originally, what we'd planned on doing was we were going to go to Badlands State Park. Yeah, Badlands National Park, whatever, in that area. And we thought that would be great. That'd be a whole lot of fun because it's very, very unique looking. Well, I'd planned the entire trip out from Texas all the way up and around with the intention of hitting Badlands. And after I'd planned off this entire trip, all these little stops that I already discussed that I made, that's when I discovered at Badlands, also, Sophie can't go on trails. Once again, Sophie can't go, we're not going. So after that, I was like, well, where are we going to go? So Sophie and I looked at it, and Custer State Park is really cool looking. Lots of green out there. Very large stone features. It looks like it's going to be really, really neat. On top of that, they actually allow dogs in the cabins for only $10 extra, and that's for the entire stay. So we're staying there 3 days, and we got a cabin, so that ought to be nice. The only thing is after that, we got about a 14-hour drive back, and I haven't ever driven 14 hours in my life, so I don't think we're going to make the straight trip home after that. Even though we should be rested up, we're probably going to need to stop somewhere. Haven't actually planned on where that's going to be at. I'm sure in this case, we're just going to take the straight shot down. We're not going to go around anything, which means, pardon for anybody in Kansas area or anything like that, but we're going to have to drive through Kansas. Doesn't sound like that exciting. But by then, we're probably going to be a little bit tripped up as it is. So we are super excited about that. We plan on doing, I think, 7 lives out of the 11 stops and everything. Now, if we can't get signal out there or there's some other sort of technical difficulties, of course, I guess we won't be doing a live at that particular location. You can expect we'll be if we are doing a live, we're going to be doing 8 p.m. Central because I'm not sure what time zone we'll be in at that particular time. So we're shooting for Central. Basically, Sophie and I plan on discussing what our adventures we've had, but also we plan on posting on, if you haven't caught yet, I set up a brand new Facebook group specifically for a dude and a dog hiking. And so that we should be looking at daily updates, kind of unedited video and stuff like that. We'll be tossing up that on there as we go along. So that ought to be a lot of exciting stuff. Also, we got a brand new shirt that we had done up. You can see there. So we got a couple of those. So those ought to be pretty cool. 12 and a half hours straight for the Oklahoma meetup. Yeah, I planned on going out there. I got my campsite. As a matter of fact, my campsite was empty. I didn't even bother to get a refund or anything like that. Bad me. But I really wanted to go there, but the weather just looked way too sketchy for me. So now if the weather gets sketchy out on this trip, we're just going to have to deal with it. But it would have been also the first time in my new tent of actually the location, because we got that new tent that we did a review on a little bit ago, initial setup review, but we haven't actually set it up at a real location yet and had to weather through a storm or anything. So this weekend is when we hit Cooper Lake State Park, and that looks like it's going to be really good weather. High of like 88, 89, so starting to get a bit warm during the day, but no rain, no precipitation. So we'll be starting off our adventure with relatively decent weather as far as the tent itself goes. So yeah, that's what we're looking at for our trip. And hey, thanks for Evelyn for joining us with this live right here. And it looks like I see a second person, but I'm not sure who that might be. But thanks for joining the live. It's nice to be able to see exactly what it looks like when it pops up over here on the chat. So that's a little bit of something. And otherwise, I look forward to anybody who joins us as we get out on the road. Thanks for joining us again. Just keeping this short, just so I can get familiarity with it. Thanks again. Y'all have a good morning. Have a good weekend.